You just tuned in to Up for Discussion.
Check. Let's see if everything's live. If we're live, give us a thumbs up. Let us know. Guys, you wouldn't mind, give us a thumbs up here with this.
What's up, everybody?
Breaker 19.
That's right.
Online.
We are here this evening with our boys, and we're pretty excited about that.
What up, boys?
What's up?
Not much.
We've got James Hutchcraft on this side, and we've got Owen Musgrave on the other. Do you want to go by George or Owen on this?
Either one,
Or George Owen?
any of them. I
Geo.
went by all of them.
Bocephus.
That's right.
Not that one. Not that one.
Not that one. That's
So we're going to have fun this evening. Basically, before we get started, let's do the pre stuff. This is episode 54. We're calling this one Walking Amongst Giants. Lathan and myself being the giants, and the boys following in our footsteps. So we just wanted to talk to them a little bit about not only their hunting experience, but also what archery has become for them, and talk about we may talk about a little bit of everything this evening. We'll see. But for this evening, the sponsor for this evening is Ultra Products. And we've got Numa up in the corner, so we might as well call Numa one of the sponsors as well. They might not love that, but hey, whatever. If you guys get a chance, please like, share, comment. We appreciate it. It's always good to know that guys are watching, and good to know that it's getting out there. And you all right?
Yeah. That's why
I was worried about you there for a second. It's always good to know that guys are tuning in, and we love whenever you guys comment. It's great for us because it kind of feeds into the conversation, and we appreciate that. So we've got our coffee and we've got our boys. So here we go.
Here we go.
All right. So what direction are we going to take this, Lathan?
I have literally not thought about it.
My thing is, you and I have lived hunting for, well, basically since I was 15 years old. And truthfully, it was before that for me, and I know it was for you too.
Mhm.
We just started hunting together
right.
around that time. For me, it started out as coon hunting with my dad. I mean, I think we got our first, we got our first coon dog whenever I was around 12. We had rabbit dogs before that, but Dad started me out squirrel hunting. I remember when I was 5 years old going with Dad squirrel hunting, and I would fall asleep while he would sit and shoot squirrels because I just could not stay awake, you know.
Wake up with mosquito bites.
That's right.
Squirrel hunting can be a mosquito fight.
So
I started, on my Facebook Live this morning, I was talking about, I was like, I just wanted to shoot something all the time, you know. So started with little bows and arrows, and I mean, I was flinging arrows at birds in the yard or whatever, squirrels and all that stuff. But yeah, with Dad started coon hunting. Dad coon hunted, rabbit hunted. We rabbit hunted a lot when I was just a little feller. And for sure, you started out, he'd let me carry my BB gun with him. Yeah. You know, and he'd shoot rabbits. And if I ever seen one off in the distance, I'd fling a BB and then he'd shoot it. But then about my 6th grade years, when I moved on to Dad deer hunted with a gun, shotgun hunted. And man, I wanted to bow hunt so bad because I had some family members that did. And I shot bows, like I said, even when I was just a little bitty fella, shooting at things I probably wasn't supposed to be shooting at. Yeah. But finally started bow hunting in my 6th grade year, and it's been that way ever since.
So I know for James what the scenario is, but my question is, do you think that times have changed enough to where our boys don't get the same things that we got?
You may have to further that question.
Well, I mean,
You mean-
James is just now really starting to appreciate being in the woods and starting to, like, last year was the first time James was like, I want to go squirrel hunting, right?
I think maybe 2 years.
2 years. You can talk into that thing. Don't be scared
'Cause
of
the
it.
year before that, I really wanted to go with Hank quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went a few times.
And last year was the first year that he got somewhat serious about deer hunting. Right?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
You can see that.
And that being the case, I know that we started earlier, and part of me, I was reluctant to push because I was worried that if I pushed, he might not appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I never pushed either, did I? I would present it to Owen,
Yeah.
and there a few times I probably made you go.
We've got
Maybe
one guy
not.
asking if the boys are going with us to South Africa. That would be a fun trip,
Yeah, it would.
but they are not going with us to South Africa this time. So maybe next time.
I'd like to.
I don't know about that.
You don't think you'd like that?
No.
I think I would like to, like, not this year, but maybe next year, the year after that, at some point, I'd like to go with you guys when you go up to Colorado.
Yeah.
Elk hunting.
He's been hitting us up.
Yeah.
He's been hitting me up for the last couple of years.
Be
I want
time
to do
to
that.
Tie on your big boy boots then, huh?
It's pretty serious.
You'll probably.
I know. I think I could. I think I could handle it.
Oh,
though.
I'd say so. You probably put us in the dirt
Yeah.
I think like
because what are you going to be? 15?
yeah.
Last year, I didn't think you could.
Well, I could see that, but like I know now, and I don't mean this like in almost like a rude way, but I know like
Almost
like
a
heart
rude way.
health and like endurance wise, I think I've got a
Heart
lot more
health.
a lot more in me than you do.
You're done. Out.
like cardiovascular wise.
Well, your plumbing is definitely newer than ours. So for Owen, I never pushed him, and he went some, and
Yeah.
we had a few episodes, didn't we? You even
Yeah.
shot a deer, didn't you?
Mhm.
Shot a deer with muzzleloader.
Yeah.
The first deer he ever drew a bead on was a pretty nice buck too, but I confused him with some of my deer talk lingo. It's like the night before telling him what to do, and sure enough, the first deer that comes walking through is probably a 130-inch buck. Nice buck. Would have been tremendous to shoot that deer for your first deer. And do you remember that well?
I do. It was confused. I was just, I was probably in the third grade or so.
Yeah.
And he said, what's going to happen is if a deer walks out in that little lane, because it was, I don't know,
We were sitting
like
in
a
the brush.
20-yard
Yeah.
path.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to grunt at it. And as soon as that happens, you shoot.
Well, I said when it stops, that's when you take your
You-
good aim and shoot.
You had talked about grunting at it, though. Making
Yeah,
a
I said
noise.
I'd stop it. Yeah.
That's what I was waiting on.
Well, it
Well,
walked out into that.
stopped.
Yeah.
It stopped dead in its tracks, but I was waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for that
he thought that was
noise.
the signal to shoot.
Oh, gotcha.
So the deer walks out. I was like, oh, it's a nice one. Here it comes. Get ready. And it walks out. Loop, 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 right in the middle of the shooting lane, about 30 yards out there, and just stopped on its own and was
Yeah.
standing there looking around. And I was like, you know how you do when someone's getting ready to shoot a gun? I was like,
you were
sticking-
preparing.
I was sticking my finger in my ear and going, I'm going to shoot at any time. Anytime. It started walking. It stepped out of her. It was just that quick. It was over and it was out of
Yeah.
our lane. There was no shots. And I was like, why didn't you shoot that deer? He's like, you didn't make the sound you said you was going to make. So, a lot of years ago when he was a lot younger, and I was like, well, I guess I probably could have been a little more clear
Yeah.
that I would only do that if the deer wasn't going to stop. I would stop it for him. But anyhow, we sat there, I don't know, about 20 minutes later, 30 minutes or so, here come a little knucklehead. I was like, you want to shoot that one? He's like, yep. Come from their direction. And that time I was like, now here's the deal. You get your scope on it and and follow it. And if it stops on its own, I don't have to stop it. You shoot it when you feel like, we got our wires uncrossed.
I had the game plan clear that time.
Yeah, he had a clear game. It stepped out there, and I was like gonna tell him because it stopped too. I don't think I'd stop it. It stepped out there in about the exact same place, but come from the other direction. And I was getting ready to tell him to shoot, and I mean, soon as it stopped in stride, boom! The gun went off, and I was like, "Oh no!" He shot too fast and missed it. And I was like, "Do you think he was on it?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, got it." I was like, "Well, are you sure?" Because it was a muzzleloader, so the smoke rolled out there, and I couldn't see. He's like, "Oh yeah, I was right on it." He's like, "I'm pretty sure, yeah, I got it, Dad." And I was like, "Okay." And I was thinking to myself in my head, I was like, "Man, he shot so fast." That deer was just barely even stopped when he shot. And about that time, you could hear beating in the brush, crashing. One going down. I was like, "By golly, I think you got it." And it was just right out there.
That's awesome.
Got him.
Kyle Martin, he said, let me pull it up here, that mule deer hunt, when we go back to a good Western first hunt, that would be a good hunt for the boys.
Yeah.
Lana's first deer was a big mule deer, and she killed a nice one this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen some pictures and pretty nice muleys they killed.
Kyle, also, we've got your knocks and your limbs just came in. So a little shout out for the shop.
Yeah.
So
James and Owen will have two different stories now, though, because you still really don't have much desire to go hunting, right?
No, I don't. But when it comes to archery,
Tell us why.
I like to sleep.
Oh, well, you can hunt of an evening.
I like to go home too. So.
Okay.
But when it comes to I just got a bow. I got the Green Goblin. I got Dad's old bow.
Yep.
I'm competitive. I like things to compete in, and I also like things to get better at.
Yeah.
So I played baseball my senior year because they asked me. That was something to get good at. Well, then there was a void. Well, then I picked up golf, and that's something to get good at. But I learned real quick that you can only do that when it's nice outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
archery,
then,
you can do anytime.
Yeah, I work here too, so I have access to the lane.
Mm-hmm.
It's something to get good at and trying to beat people in, which I really like.
Yeah.
Trying to do.
I think that's awesome.
That's good. So competition archery may be more your thing.
I think it's awesome that he's developed, when we hired him knowing full well that he was not interested in hunting.
Yeah, you just never, I'm always been fine with that too.
Sure,
If you don't want to go,
absolutely.
don't go. If it's not your thing. I never wanted to force it on. I wanted to present it to him.
Yeah.
But never wanted to just say you had to do that because I did that.
Yeah.
But I will say one of the greatest competitions on planet Earth is you and a 4-year-old plus buck.
Yeah.
I will. If you can master outwitting a 4-year-old all the time, plus 5, 6-year-old whitetails, you have accomplished something.
I almost bet you, as competitive as you are, you would appreciate it different now than you did then.
That could very well be true.
Yeah, because you weren't really competitive at a young age.
No, as I've gotten older, it's
developed.
gotten
Because it went
more prominent.
when he was from probably just a little feller till 12. It was he wasn't interested in anything competitive, or what would the other word be? Nothing with calamity. I want things calm.
Yeah.
I don't want calamity and things going on. You're still that way, but you've developed this competition thing.
The best way to describe my competitiveness, it's most people wouldn't guess it just in my day-to-day life, but it's something my brain switches.
Yeah.
You flip a switch and it's I turn into I feel different. I get angry. I don't get angry real easy outside of competition.
Have you watched the movie Over the Top?
I have.
Greatest movie of all time.
I'll turn this hat around.
It's like a switch.
Because the switch goes off. It's just
Like a switch, man.
We used to watch Over the Top.
Yeah. Good show.
Yeah.
But
that impersonation was over the top. I'm sure, so.
I didn't get it very well.
James last year, he was hunting, and had quite the experience. I put him directly north of us at the house, and I sat on the deck and watched.
Mm-hmm.
And
We don't need to talk about this.
I think it's a good story. I think it's
don't
one
think
that
it is.
later on you may appreciate. But I start seeing deer coming out, and it's it's getting the right time.
Right.
And I'm looking through my binoculars, and I'm like, man, dadgum, there's a good one.
Yeah.
And it walks out, and I know which deer it is because it's one that I had missed personally already. And I was like,
No, why isn't he shooting?
yeah.
Why isn't he
I was
shooting?
like, why is James not shooting?
You
and-
texted me even. I
Yeah.
think you said.
You can look at my eyes, boy.
I don't want to.
And I was like, what in the world? So I drove up there after, it was way past dark. I thought, well, I'll give him a little bit of time. And I drove up and pulled right up there, climbed up to the stand, and I grabbed his foot, and I'm like, are you alive? He had slept through it the whole time. So, and that was the rooster buck that got killed this year. So,
How close was he?
oh, dude, right in front of him. Like,
Well, he wouldn't have been if I was awake though, because I've been moving too much.
Maybe
That's-
not. Maybe not. You might have smoked him, man. He's famous.
that was
Well,
I
guess,
think that deer ended up scoring 173 or something like that.
this year.
Yeah.
Well, I
And
don't-
honestly, I think he went downhill.
Really?
Yeah. Like he had way more broke off this year or last year, but overall, I think he went
Was it
down.
better?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
I
yep.
feel like for me personally, like you were saying last year, I think I got a little bit into it. And this year, I really enjoyed going, and I wanted to go more than I did. But
Yeah.
it was hard with the wrestling practice and stuff. And it being in the winter, it was dark most of the time by the time I got out of wrestling.
I think that's why Lathan quit football, wasn't it?
I quit football to deer hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, not football, basketball. Yeah, I didn't quit football. Didn't quit football. Quit
Okay.
basketball.
Oh, you quit football for other reasons,
Yeah.
didn't you?
I basically got kicked off the football team
Yeah.
my senior year for being a Christian, is what I say. And it really was. That's not like an exaggeration. I mean,
it was not.
I was preachy.
Yeah. I
No.
was right there with you.
Yeah.
I saw that firsthand.
I
So.
watched Wes start to strip his clothes off right on the Albion football field. What the coach says, like, well, Hutchcraft, if you don't like it, you could turn your stuff in when we get back to the school. Like, I'll turn it in right now. And you start taking your clothes. I'm like, are you going to get down to your girdle? Or what? And for people that don't play football, that stuff that holds your hip and tailbone pad and all that
Yeah.
stuff's called a girdle. Only time I can ever think in my life that I wore something called a girdle, but that was it.
Yeah. Coach Hatfield shut me down on that and was
Yeah.
like, just keep your clothes on, kid.
Yeah.
So as far as hunting, this year I saw something switch in James to where he really became more interested in it. And to me, that was kind of cool to get to see. Even whenever I got you the new bow,
Yeah.
like seeing what it did in you as far as generating interest more.
Well, I feel like this year I enjoyed doing it. And the year before that, like the year I was in 8th grade.
What's up there? You keep looking up there.
I'm just thinking. The year I was in 8th grade, I think I was doing it for myself. But I think really before that, it felt like almost to me like I was just doing it just to make you happy.
Yeah.
But I feel like now I've
Started to enjoy it.
started like genuinely enjoying it and
Yeah.
more and more.
I think that's awesome.
Well, that's kind of the same
It is.
stick with him, that he picked up a bow and shot it a few times and found out, it's kind of fun.
What actually happened
There's
is
something fascinating about trying to hit the dot, isn't it?
I told Cohen, I was like, I can beat you with your own bow as a joke. Well, then he's like, no, you can't. I was like, I almost guarantee I can. And then I I beat him by like 2 that day.
That right there is a slam amongst slams. I bet
That's
I could
tough.
beat you with your own bow.
Yeah.
Well, I ended up shooting like an 82 on like that plastic deer, and he shot like an 80 or whatever. And I was like, oh, that was actually kind of fun.
Yeah, kind of
Uh,
enjoyed that, huh?
Yeah. I think it was the next day that you hit me up and was like, what would you want for that bow?
Yeah,
So-
wait till if you ever go, like if you enter and shoot out here or something, it gets intense.
Oh,
I see. I'm you get the competitiveness probably from me, and I have learned how to curve it.
yeah.
Because,
You went the other way with it.
yeah, because I don't enjoy the feeling of rage when I'm not doing well or when I'm losing. So I've just learned to be like, I just won't do that.
Yeah.
Because I don't like what it brings to the surface sometimes. So, and I've also in my age, I've learned, I can play pickleball. We play pickleball and stuff, and I can enjoy that. I can be a little intense at times, but I can enjoy it. We're used to, I could be so competitive, even like what you would call just a fun pickup game of basketball or pickleball or something. I'm like, I can't even enjoy it, throwing hats, kicking the wall, because I'm losing or doing well. With age, I've learned how to, I can enjoy that stuff now. But
Rein that in.
But when I go to say like last year we went and shot, and there's money involved, and I realize what I've put into it, and I know that I'm better than the outcome that I don't like how it makes me feel.
Yeah.
So I kind of stray from that.
I like how it makes me feel. It's weird.
Well, mine's like a love-hate, I guess, because I like it.
Yeah.
And I almost like it to the point that like I want to let the rage out and and like that. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird thing that
I
feel
like
like-
it because it makes me better.
sure. That's all.
And
that's
I'm like-
100%.
And I've told you this before, like it's part of the reason why I've always hugged so tight to you and the things that you've done, because I feel like you need someone who's going to pull the best out in you. And
Agree.
it's very important to surround yourself with people that pull good things out of you. And there's something about competition that I feel like it pulls a drive out of me that otherwise I don't always have.
Right.
I feel like for me, like whenever I'm behind is whenever I try the hardest. And like even if I end up coming out behind, I could still like be better off for it in the long run, because it's like driving me to get better.
Yeah. You can be very hard on yourself at times too, though.
Yeah.
Like whenever you don't shoot the way you want, and that's where there's got to be balance.
Well, I
you know
have
what
been
I mean?
shooting the way I want since I got that Matthews. That thing shoots
You've been
good.
shooting way better.
And I'm like closet competitive now because we do the shoot here, and I've shot it.
Oh,
every
I know
time.
you are.
And I've only been beat once. I've
Uh,
only been beat once. I don't shoot it. I don't enter the money, but I compete with myself to see, because I know
if he could compete with the
yeah,
guys.
and I've been beat. I have been beat once. I by somebody. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
but
that
I
could-
shoot. So I'm closet competitive in that sense. I'm like, I'm gonna go back there and shoot against myself.
I couldn't do that, because if I did that good, I want to be like, hey, I did better than you.
Well, I just announced it to everybody on our.
he just did it.
But no, only one person has beat me last week.
Yeah,
I was beaten.
man, that kid's a good shot.
He's a good
Yeah, he did
shot.
pretty good.
Now, in my defense, now I'm going to make an excuse. I called 14.
Start calling you Josh.
I told Owen. Owen was scoring me. I said I'm going to do 14s all the way through,
Yeah.
and I never shot for a 10 or a 12. So obviously, when you miss a 14,
Oh yeah, it's
you take a
major.
beat. So I shot for 14s on every shot.
How'd you do?
I was 1 under the winner, 1 point under.
Oh,
So
for last week?
yeah,
Yeah.
So it was a
Man,
139.
that's pretty good.
139, I think, is what I shot. Yeah.
If you pulled one punch instead of shooting all 14 and shot at 10, you would have gained 2 points and shot.
I could have just been like,
One over.
I'm about to win this. I could shoot for a 10 and stay up and win it or something.
But that's kind of soft.
no,
so.
but I already called at the beginning. I said I'm shooting 14s all the way through. So I still like competitiveness. I like to win.
Sure.
But I also have I have a knack that I want. I don't know. It's not perfectionist because I'm not necessarily like an OCD perfectionist, but like with my bow, especially with my bow, shooting, I can't even handle it if I think like going to the woods that my bow is not perfect.
Yeah.
So I do spend a lot of time, I guess, making things perfect.
Yeah. You are far more in depth on that than what I am.
Like when I screw on broadheads, I go out there to that target and shoot every arrow with a broadhead on it. Because I
Yeah.
was like, do I have one arrow that doesn't fly good with broadheads? Because that bugs me. Because what if I have to reach for that arrow? And I'm like, I want them all cutting the hair that I'm aiming at, you know? So,
and I think that's awesome. And at the same time, I'm the type of person that's like, what kind of broadhead did somebody throw on the table today? I might use that one tonight. You know,
and
like,
I might do that. I might like, I don't want to shoot those broadheads today, but I'm going out there
yeah.
and I'm going to check it from 20 to 50, you know,
Yeah.
and see what it's doing. Do you think you have that in you?
So like,
Because you don't really know the mechanics yet. You're learning it quick of tuning and
Yeah.
arrow flight and all that stuff.
I will say when it comes to like shooting, I tell people that's my measuring stick is him.
Yeah.
I want to be able to beat him. That's what I'm pushing for. And people like
Oh,
people like
boy.
they laugh. I'm like, yeah, your dad's a good shot, but like, I want to be able to beat anyone that walks in here.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how good of a shot your dad is.
I mean, I've watched him my whole life,
Yeah.
so I do have an understanding. But I still want to be able to just like,
But I think that comes from the enjoyment of shooting, though, because I've shot so much.
Yeah. I don't shoot near as much, but I'm still a good shot.
Yeah, you're a good shot.
I can beat 98% of guys that are coming in here.
Ooh.
I can.
No, we're putting numbers
Sounds like a
on
competition.
it.
But usually you beat me. So
and that's what I'm chasing. But
I
when
mean,
we might have to do a live tomorrow where we shoot against each other.
I will not win that yet. But I'm working like so I got a bow on a Saturday. So I was in here that Tuesday and I got here early and I probably took 110 shots before anyone even walked through the door.
Oh man.
That's quite a few.
Jarrett Lewis says I've beat him before in his own backyard. I love it.
Jarrett's a big smack talker.
I don't know if he has.
Oh,
Maybe
man.
he has. I can be beaten. I promise you I can be beaten. I'm not the best.
But when you get beaten, you go back and you'd shoot, and then the next time you see that person, you're like, hey, you want to go?
Yeah, I think there was a time where you had what it took to be the best. And I'm not saying that you don't now, but what you lack is the drive.
Yeah, I don't
The
have
drive
much
for competition.
I don't have much desire to go to the 3D shoots, and not that I won't. I just don't. I don't know. And I don't know if it's because I got so much on my table at times, you know, to do. I don't know if that's it. I don't really know what it is.
They've always intrigued me. I enjoy traveling anyways,
Mhm.
and traveling to shoot, man, that's awesome to me. Like last year I went to an ASA shoot in Coleman, Alabama, and when we went there, I got to shoot in the elite shoot against a guy that was from England,
Really.
and he had been to almost every single ASA shoot from England.
Really.
Yeah. He's like, I love it. He's like, I save up my points and I save up money just so I can come here and shoot. And he's like, I don't go on vacations. This is my vacation. He's like, I just enjoy it. And
England, like over the sea. England.
yeah, like over the sea.
Because there's several Englands. Like,
Yeah. Not
towns.
like New England.
Yeah.
Like
Or isn't there an England in Arkansas or something like that?
Yep.
He drove an hour to the shoot.
Yeah, I think he said he flew, it was like 17 hours or
Sure,
something.
that's a long
So,
way.
Yeah.
So does he Well, he'd have to go home and come back and go home and come
Oh
back.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He's committed.
That's into it there.
Yeah.
That's into it. But
And he was a good shot, but I wouldn't say he was a great shot. Like he wasn't one of the guys that
he just loves to go
he just
shoot.
loves it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jarrett says we were under the tree at the stone house out to 80 to 85 yards. I put them all in there on the back to back rounds. His comment was, well, this isn't good. You're out shooting me. I never forgot that day. You shouldn't forget that day, Jarrett. It'll probably never happen again.
Yeah.
Well, he remembers it in detail.
That will be biggest
Good.
accomplishment for the rest of his life.
I don't think Hallie would like that.
I'd say he could outshoot me, and no one could outshoot. Anybody can outshoot anybody on a given day.
I'll tell you what it takes
The-
for him to
here's
outshoot.
the
He needs a
difference.
dart.
The difference.
I
I
have a
would
dart
say
in
the
somewhere.
difference, and when you go to those shoots, and this is kind of talk, we turned it into talking about competition shooting, but the difference between good and all the other stuff,
Yeah.
it's I guess how you measure it, but to me it would be measured over like Levi Morgan wins all the time.
Yeah.
Any of those guys in that cast could win.
Could win on a given day.
on a day. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, do you come in this lane in here and shoot a 140 one time and then a 105 the next?
Yeah.
Or do you shoot a
Getting
130?
consistency
Do you
is
shoot a
tough.
139, a 140, a 129, or a 131, a 139, a 141? You know, are you always a few points within
Sure.
each other, I guess? And
And that's what I've tried to instill in James is consistency is key.
yeah,
Like you
It's-
have to be out there shooting and shooting and shooting because
Just-
when you do that, that's what builds consistency in when you're up in a tree, you're going to be consistent.
but I have no doubt, Jared,
like-
you can stomp a mud hole in me. You start shooting a bunch.
I'm what they call consistently mediocre.
But there was times when I think back times, gosh, I didn't know things that I know now. Part of what makes me maybe what people would say a good shot is just the fact that I know so much about it now.
Yeah.
Through the years, I've always worked on my own stuff, and I've always shot a lot. I used to shoot fingers until, I had blisters at times, and Dad was like, "Quit shooting," and I'd wear gloves, and then when releases come around, so I just have always had that. I wear dirt paths. Owens probably could remember in our backyard in town a dirt path
Yeah.
to my target because I spent one summer convinced I was going to learn how to shoot like Tim Wells. I was going to shoot fingers with no sights with a compound, and I shot all summer that way and shot pretty good. But
But you're not Tim.
I'll go ahead and tell you, I never
That
achieved.
he's a freaking.
I never
nature, tell you
achieved-
what.
He is a freak of nature.
I never achieved Brother Tim Wells's status, I guess you could say.
I think
Yeah.
to a degree, like stuff like that, I feel like to a certain extent you can't really learn it. Because like you could go in and hammer and practice over and over and over and be really proficient with a bow without a sight. But he's really proficient with that and then a spear, and he can use a boomerang, and I saw him hitting birds out of the air with a boomerang.
Well, he's a hunter
Yeah.
of hunters, that's for
He
sure.
is. He loves it. He does it day in and day out. And when you love something like that, here's the thing. Something else goes by the wayside for one.
Yeah.
And but you also become very good at what you're doing. There's always going to be sacrifice that has to happen in order to become that. Like it's part of the process. So
What are you willing to sacrifice?
Is that a question or is that just kind of a one-off statement?
I can answer. I'm not willing to sacrifice the time anymore to travel and go to shoots. There was
Yeah.
probably a time in my life. Maybe that answers that question we're talking about with me earlier. Like I just don't have it in me to go do it, I guess.
Right now, I don't have the time to split. I got stuff I got to line out. So
What do you need to line out?
a place to live,
Yeah.
make sure I can pay everything pretty much because I'm about to get married. So
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Big shoes
You know,
to fill.
They hand out pretty good cash prizes at some of those things. You can maybe that's what you need to be doing to get a place to live.
Yeah, well, there's
That
people.
is probably not a good.
There's people making a living at it,
Yeah, there are.
and
But
those
that's
are the ones
all
that are
they
the
do.
best. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
don't know
I-
if that's
I-
what I'd want to do for a living, but I do it
Lathan
for
and I
fun.
have got friends that they didn't make a living, but they made tens of thousands of dollars doing it.
Shoot,
Yeah.
It can be
Um,
done.
Yeah. So that's neither, I guess, here nor there. But one thing I would like to touch on is a post that I made earlier this week on the Ultra Products page. And I know that this is not necessarily pertaining to having our guys on here or anything like that, but
It could pertain to their future, though,
it very well could.
if they start hunting or something to that nature. Or,
And
I mean, James is already hunting, but if Owen started hunting, or even beyond hunting, the DNR covers a lot of other things, right? As far as
sure.
just outdoor fishing and all that stuff. And he loves to fish.
I do like to fish.
And what that is if some of you guys saw what I posted, it was Glenn Sanders. And I've invited Glenn to come on the podcast because I would love to hear what he has to say in regards to this. But essentially what it is the Illinois DNR received $288 million, and they are only accounting for 169 million of it in their records, which is $118 million with no documentation.
So they just don't know where it went.
Well, I would say somebody knows
Or
where it went.
they know they don't want people to know where it went, I guess.
I mean, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is because it's twofold. One reason is because I feel like there need to be a constituency of guys that are speaking out about this and saying this is not all right, and being willing to stand up and say we need accountability. Like right now, we're seeing this day in and day out in the federal government happening.
Yeah.
And
Interesting times.
yeah, it really is. And not necessarily looking to turn this into some sort of political push, but when it comes to what we do, when it comes to this shop, it's important for the DNR to be
Upright.
Yeah. And this is definitely bringing some questions into people's minds as to whether that's the case.
Well, first off, like, so them having that much money unaccounted for, if when you go to file taxes for Ultra and you say, I'm gonna make it simple, like say you have X amount, let's make it like a clean number. I'm just gonna say like 100 grand, right? You have 100 grand. Well, I don't know where 70,000 of that went.
Yeah.
the government on their end would be like, you'd get investigated.
Absolutely.
So
That's
on their
not
end,
okay.
Yeah.
On their end, it should be the same.
Yeah.
It should. But the people who are investigating those things right now,
They
are-
might have some stake in the game.
well, I would say this, even in the federal government, you know how explosive it is right now
Mhm.
because they're getting examined, and people don't like to be called on their nonsense. Don't get me wrong, this is not me saying that every game warden is a bad guy or anything like that, because I think that they're very valuable and very important to making sure that things are done right.
Where does all that money? I mean, so what was the numbers there?
So there's
they received-
$288 million that they
That-
received.
That comes from what? Is that
Uh,
from tags, buying tags, hunting license, fishing license, or is that just
Nope.
tax dollars?
So 116 million was awarded for abandoned mine reclamation. So what that would be is if
Reclaiming.
Yeah, if a mine, let's say they've quit mining,
Old strip mine.
yeah, and the DNR takes over that. Well, the DNR can sell that back into reclamation, and you're required to do so many things to make sure that that ground becomes useful again.
Right.
So they've sold ground, basically, is essentially what it is, and they did that 116 million. Wildlife sport fish restoration program. I'm not sure what that is, but they're awarded $68 million for that.
So that'd be that's
Would that-
grant money there.
I say would that be funded by like the government?
Possibly.
That would about have to be grant money, which I've always wondered, like, I guess on a deal like that, grant money would come from the state, which would come out of the tax pool, right?
Well, it says that the awarding agency is FWS, and I'm not sure what that stands for, but I'm sure that it's some sort of federal money. Great Lakes
Sounds like it.
Restoration Initiative, federal money, $34 million. So I'm looking to see where actually I don't see anywhere on there where it talks about the sale of tax included in that, because that's got to be a significant amount.
Yeah.
Outdoor recreation acquisition, development, and planning, $15 million. And of all these things, it shows where that money went. So like the abandoned mine reclamation, apparently that wasn't something that they sold. That was what they were doing. They were working to reclaim that ground. Well, they're awarded $116 million and they spent 46 on it. So that's a lot of money.
There's
That
50 plus, almost 60,000.
Yeah, that's not
or 60
accounted for.
million. That
I don't think you lose that in your couch cushions.
I don't think so either. So I would encourage you guys to get a hold of your senator and get a hold of your representative and talk to them about that. Find out where that money is going. Justin Wallace said FWS is U.S. Fish and Wildlife. Justin, we appreciate you tuning in on that. You probably can give a whole lot more insight into this than what most people can. And yeah, it'd probably be good to have you on sometime to talk about what this looks like for the state as well. But to me, if there's that much money that is unaccounted for, that's a problem. And
it's a lot of dollars.
maybe there's a simple solution to it. Maybe it's just money that's not spent.
Yeah, sitting in an account
Yeah,
somewhere
but
waiting to be spent.
If that's the case, I would hope the DNR would be like, "Hey, here's the deal." But
I feel
don't
like
know.
that'd still be accounted for.
That's what
It
I'm saying. That
does.
I was getting ready to say, it would seem to me as like, oh, well, yeah, we've got 52 million sitting in our account ready to spend on the next project or whatever.
Yeah.
Or it hasn't been paid out yet.
Well,
but that what you read is that's like unaccounted for.
yeah. And here's the thing. I know
That's a lot of dollars.
that Glenn Sanders, his post has exploded. He posted it last week, and last time I looked, it had over 1,000 shares. And really, it ought to have more than that if it's a legitimate issue in our government. And that's one thing. If you guys get a chance, look into it more.
Because like I would love to know is like is 80% of that or 100% of it or 50% of it tax dollars? I bet it has to, but some of it has to be tax dollars, right? If it's grants from the state,
it is tax dollars. Yeah.
So I mean it's like
Yeah.
golly gee.
So he has been pushing for the IDNR to basically show where the money's at, because
Show me the money.
most of this stuff is if you file a formal request, the government has to be able to account for the stuff that they do.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he filed a FOIA request, and his request was denied by the DNR. So, because it's unduly burdensome at this time.
I bet.
Yeah.
Not to call anyone like a low down like thief, but what are the odds that some of that money ended up in pockets?
Well,
It'd be very burdensome to find out. Or it would be burdensome if somebody found that out.
their response was that the documents that he's asking for is over 1,250 pages, so it would take them a while. All that being said, dude, we're talking about the government. They've got good printers. Like, you can print out that many pages fairly quick. And I know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, I've got a printer at the church that rips them out quick.
well, the printer that we had up there at Iconic, dude, it would do 120 pages like in an hour, no problem. And that was like,
Detailed stuff.
well, that was legal. So that's a double. So 240 is what it would do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So a couple few hours they could have your
Yeah.
your documents printed.
I'm sure
out.
they probably have bigger uptakings going day to day anyway.
Yeah.
Just click print and walk away.
Well, I would like to see guys do something about that, because I think we all ought to.
Well, I mean, it either means we're paying too many taxes.
Well, here's the deal though. That money is coming from the federal government. And to me, that's a prime example of something that even Elon needs to be looking into.
Well, send Elon a message.
Because if it's going
Busy man.
from
Can we get to Doge down here in Southern Illinois to talk to us for a little bit?
well, if it's coming from the federal government and they're mishandling their money, that's a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they're doing right now,
Yeah.
trying to figure all that out.
Last I saw, they cut like 102 billion from that
Yeah.
of wasteful spending, and that's like of all the promise, like if veterans come back and don't like the veterans are on the street. I mean, you could get them all a place to live
Yeah.
comfortably.
Yeah. Like the things that could be done with that money that are being done.
Yeah, it's
Almost anything would
astounding.
be better. I mean, it'd be better than what it is now if it's not essential. You're just
It's ridiculous.
Did you see Elon on Rogan lately? He's
No.
like legitimately. He's like, he's just joking about it like it was no big deal. But he's like, the things that I'm doing, it legitimately makes me worry about my
Yeah.
life.
I
Yeah.
saw that this morning.
Like he said, they want to kill me.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think Joe Rogan asked a question. He's like, I can't answer that because someone's going to kill me.
Yeah.
He's like,
And
if I
then-
keep talking, they're gonna.
And then he even said, he's like, I am not pushing. He said, I can only push so hard. Because he said, basically, it's so corrupt what I found that it's like, you just can't release it all at once. And
Yeah.
I think people will want me gone. He's like, so it's like you letting the bucket drip instead of just pushing it over. So interesting, but that's a whole nother subject
Boy,
that
it
we're
is.
on.
That's a
What do
deep
you
one.
think, James?
I don't think I know about half of what we're. I don't understand a lot of the big federal government spending.
Yeah.
Like I understand to a degree what you're talking about, but I don't understand quite enough to have an input on it.
I'll tell you this. It won't be long and you'll understand it real well when they start pulling money out of your checks.
Yeah. It does make you care more.
Oh,
You start
when
getting
you-
paid.
yeah. When you're like, hey, I'm making $15 an hour, and then you get it and you're making 10 because
Yeah.
the government is taking 5 of every, 15 that you make.
Right.
Then you're like, what the heck is
Can
going
we
on?
cut some spending somewhere?
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to do right now. That's why
I
it's such
feel
a big
like-
deal.
How's that work?
What do you mean?
It's taxed.
Like if somebody
It's the
is
federal
it taxed
income
whenever
tax.
you cash the check, or is it
No.
well, a lot of
how's it
places
taxed
went.
then?
Before you ever get your check, that money goes to the federal government.
Why? Like why? Okay, so
because they're taxing.
if I work and you say it's $15 an hour is how much you're making, the check you're giving me is not $15 an hour.
No.
So you write the check different than.
Yeah. That's how it works.
Then why do they say a job is like $15 an hour or whatever instead of just saying it's $10 an hour?
Well,
That's dumb.
so much of it goes to the federal government, so much of it goes to the state. So you're right. It is dumb. It's theft is what it comes down to.
I mean,
Yeah,
here
so-
I've
so-
always said I'm not against paying taxes. I mean, I like to drive
Oh, I
on the
am.
road.
So does that
Yeah.
I like to drive
What's
on
your
the
fair
road.
share of
and-
what I earned?
does that
Yeah.
work the same way if you're getting paid cash then?
Well,
It would about
that's
have to, wouldn't
cheating.
it?
That's cheating the system is what it amounts to.
Allegedly, they say on that
Well,
you don't
where do
have to
they-
pay taxes or
Jay
document it,
Wallace,
but
who I love like crazy, says, "Let me tell you, boys, it's 100 times worse than you think." And Jay, I'd say you are probably shorting it even. I think it's really, really bad. I heard Trump say that if they find $1 trillion of mismanaged money, it will be 1% of the corruption that is actually happening.
which
And to me,
That's
I don't.
more than 100 times.
that's an
Wait,
incomprehensible amount
if
of
they
money.
find $1 trillion,
If they find $1 trillion, he says it's 1%. And to me,
oh,
I'm like, how is that
Goodness.
even possible?
That's a lot of money.
there's not an is
Like
there,
we owe $36 trillion in debt. How is it that there's 100 trillion?
No, 1 trillion.
Yeah, but 1%.
1%.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, our economy is like a $24 trillion.
Budget.
No, like that's our GDP or
Or-
whatever.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so if you look at like the charts and all this, America's one. And if you took like, I think it was California, Texas, and New York out of the American economy, that if that was a country, it'd be the third highest economy in the world.
Huh.
I think I wouldn't. I mean,
So how's that?
so we're
they're-
making
They're
our
bringing
economy
it down. Is that what you're saying?
This is about to get good.
What do you mean they're bringing
Wait,
it down?
so you
No.
said
So how much money like California's economy makes, New York's and Texas, their GDP
Yeah.
would be the third
combined would be
highest.
so high that it'd be it'd be in third place.
So
Yeah.
are we like where are we at right now? Are we like second or first?
No, we're
America's
first.
one,
Yeah.
Oh wow.
and then China, and then it's really not even close. So
Yeah.
we're making more money, but yet our debt's not going down; it's going up.
Well, we spend more than we make.
Which
We've been in debt since
that's
like
crazy because no one makes more money than we do.
It's what most people do, really.
Well, if they, but there, it proves that there's something bad wrong.
They live on the credit.
Like it
system.
shouldn't be that bad with how much
bad.
money. Well, I mean, like it shouldn't. The debt shouldn't be growing that fast with how much. I would think with how much money and
I
everything.
think it's
is taxed
fascinating
and
what
taken.
Trump's about to do with the gold cards.
That's cool. I
I
like that.
think
Cool.
I don't
it's
know.
super interesting.
What is
I
It's
that?
going to make
I
rich
don't- it's
people
like-
buy gold
yeah.
cards.
It's like a green card.
Yeah.
but you can spend money and get citizenship basically.
So you could buy.
It's like
in.
100,000 or something.
No, it's
like
five,
that.
5 million.
5 million.
5 million.
So
Yeah.
you can buy into citizenship, but
Yeah.
he's just trying to find a way probably to make money
So
and make it fast.
his thought is only the people who are Doug says, yo, what's up, Doug?
Yo.
Only the people who are or the people who are wealthy, essentially.
Yeah, to get him in.
Yeah, he's like, those people are the ones that not only spend money but also create wealth.
Create money. Yeah. 'cause,
And-
well, if they could spend 5 million to bring their $100 million business
Sure,
easier into America,
why not
mean,
do it?
yeah, because they're gonna spend 5 million, so we're getting that just whoop, got it.
Yeah, it's
And then
free
they're
It's a
money.
good way to make
Yeah,
money,
and
and,
then
you
they're-
tax it on the.
So
and then
what's
they're
the-
gonna
Well,
come
and then
in.
they're going to tax their business.
And they may
Yeah.
hire 1,000 people.
It's a good way to make money really quick.
What's the
Yeah.
stipulations on that though? Because I would
5
say
million?
all the higher ups in the cartel probably have 5 million. Easy.
But they don't-
So like, what's the?
Well, they'll vet them.
Yeah,
I mean, he said, you know, we're going to be stupid. You go through a deep vet of
But you
looking
basically
into
skip
their
the line
life.
you,
pretty
you-
much.
Well, I'm sure there's still a process.
Yeah, but like it's not going to take near as long as it would to just.
Nope, it would not.
Money's power.
And here's the thing: there are people that are upset about that, and others that are like, "Huh, why haven't we done that yet?"
so, I mean, it's interesting to have
Well-
a business mind like Trump, as opposed to someone who's only been in politics.
Yeah. I'm telling you this right now, politics is a deep hole to get into because every day something new is happening. Like, did you watch Jonathan this morning?
I watched like the second half. It depends.
Yeah, it was good. Like, it was good. So Trudeau is basically,
He's flipping on himself, ain't he?
he is making a mess of himself is what he's doing. Because Trump is, basically he just increased the tariffs or made it, reciprocal. And so Canada did it right back. And whenever they did that, he was like, all right, well, if that's how we're going to play, Mexico was like, we want to do whatever we need to do to correct this. And so today he dropped all the tariffs on Mexico. Canada is getting hammered. Mexico is not.
I don't think Canada also has the money to play hardball like that.
They do not. Now, Mexico doesn't have the money either.
No, but they're smart enough to realize that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Mexico immediately was like, cartel members, we're going to help you catch them. Like, and part of that was all a derivative of she was worried that Trump was going to send troops into Mexico. So she's like, we don't want that.
Well, they know
We'll start gathering them up.
they know he's not going to beat her on the bush. He's just going to go for it.
Yeah.
So they don't want to probably play.
I
with
seen
him.
where Alberta is petitioning.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude.
Alberta was like, we want out.
They wanna-
or
they
their
wanna join
leaders,
the-
somebody in their leadership.
They want to be the 51st state.
Yeah,
state.
somebody
Yeah.
in their leadership of that province, I guess they would call it, of Alberta,
Mhm.
was like, we want out. We'll just be the 51st state.
Doug says he's just floating around out there.
Come
Doug,
home, Doug. We
Doug,
got
when you
stuff
coming
that needs
home?
Did.
Where's he at?
Oh, he's on a boat. Yep. You catching
no
any
fun.
fish out there, Doug?
Catching rays and food.
Chris showed me a picture of Doug riding around on a moped. He looked hilarious.
I bet.
Yeah, he was wearing one of those little, I don't know what you call it. I don't hardly know what to call it other than like a
Tutu.
wiener hat is what I would, the helmets that just like,
Yeah.
oh, man.
What's that saying about a moped? It's fun doing it. You just don't want your buddies to know about it. Too late, Doug. We've got a picture. We saw you
Let's throw
on
a
the
picture
moped.
up on the screen up there.
That
just so
would be
everybody can see
awesome.
it.
We need a Jamie like Rogan's got. Put that
Yeah.
on the screen for
Yeah,
everybody.
throw
to
that up
see.
there, Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie.
You
Throw
can
that
have a
up there.
James.
James, throw it up there, James. So we
Yep.
can see Doug with his skull cap and a tutu riding around.
Oh man.
Is he still on the boat? When's he getting
That's what he
back?
says.
It's Thursday.
Hurry back, Doug.
Hurry up every chance you get.
Goodness.
So
Well-
one day you guys think you can fill our shoes?
You're walking amongst giants.
My shoes are
I
bigger
think both
than
of
his.
us are bigger than you guys are.
Metaphorically.
You are already taller than I
Yeah,
am,
I am.
but you are not bigger, son.
I got more muscle than you do too.
I'm taller than Dad, but I'm not bigger than Dad. I guess.
I'm not. I don't. Honestly, I will give it about.
Here, this
3
is a
months.
serious question. Do you think you can physically, not metaphorically, whip your dad now? Could you take him? Not in like death match, but like in
Answer it in
Like
honesty.
in an actual fight.
like let's call it a submission match. Who could submit who?
And
An-
we're not.
answer it in
what are the
honesty.
rules? What are the rules?
The rules would be
'Cause if
no.
there's
The
street
rules
fight
would be
All things go.
no face punching. We're not here to like
Like if we're going street,
scar
if
each
we're
other
just
and
going
mar
street
each other's
rules, I think I'd
appearance.
be-
But I'm talking like kind of would be like a Roman Greco wrestling / a little MMA because of submission or,
Well, that's a little different.
jiu-jitsu.
I don't think I'd win that. I think if it was just like a street
job.
fight of some
Good. Hey,
sort, I
you
think
did-
I'd be
you
more
did real good.
resourceful.
A
I think
street
he'd
fight,
be. I think
more
he would be like just. I think.
Wait
he'd
a
be
minute,
like
what did you
charging-
say?
I think like a street fight, I'd be more resourceful than he would. I think he'd be charging at me the whole time like a bull, like an angry bull,
You know
Well,
what I
you're-
do?
and I would.
But
I'd find some
your
sort of-
wrestling skills should help you with that.
You
when
wrestle.
someone-
I tell you what, I was at the banquet last night. He was talking about, basically said, boy, this kid, he sucks at wrestling, but boy, he could eat. Tell you what,
Who said
the
that?
coach.
About
Practically
you?
what he said. Yeah, he said,
Oh.
You want me to whip
gosh,
him?
I don't want to say it.
I bet I
actually.
could whip him. I don't even know him.
So I want to preface, it's really, I haven't hit the big jump yet where I've put a bunch of muscle on. And on top of that, I'm wrestling a bunch of juniors and seniors who are
It's been
bigger
a
than me. It's been a
challenging
tough
year for him.
But he said his record, it was 7-20, but boy, I tell you, sometimes we needed him at a heavier weight class, and I could always count on him to get up there.
Count on him to eat.
Basically, count him to put on some pounds.
Yeah. And he did. He wrestled a bunch at 190. So
I think.
But back to the
I don't think I
question.
necessarily.
I don't know if we
I think he's
definitively
deferring.
fully answered the question. Okay, let's put it this way: like in strictly wrestling rules, with the possibility of submission. Like I'm tapping out because he's putting me in so much pain.
Strictly. So like he can't pin me. It's just whoever taps out.
My
first.
knowledge is far
Well,
further
we're
than
doing-
yours
if
is.
we're
All
doing
your
like it's
knowledge
just-
came from early UFC in your basement.
Oh, man.
we watch
think if we're
UFC and then
doing-
try to mimic
Crucifix.
the move.
I think if we're doing
bar.
Front naked joke.
whoever taps out
Americana.
first,
Oh,
I think
man.
I'd beat you if we're doing whoever taps out first. Because I think you'd get too bored and you just give up.
I think you would get
Wow.
me if it lasted longer than 4 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
And the chances of that happen are nil.
Well, actually, I
Uh.
might not, because we were wrestling the other night.
Backtrack.
Even if I wanted to pin him or something, I can't because he's not flexible enough for me to put him in any moves.
That is true. he
I tried. He can't put
Wes
his
is
arms.
unpinnable because he's stiff as a 2x4 board.
He can't put his arms behind his back.
Oh man.
You can't do this.
No, you're right. I can't.
That's embarrassing, quite frankly. I want to get up so camera can see.
There you go.
You can't.
Hey, easy
I
on
didn't
the
mean to
equipment.
the-
I don't think getting up.
the tip. Can't
This
put
is-
your arms behind your back.
So-
man.
I need a yes or no.
Well, okay.
Like,
tell me the
yes,
rules again.
I would
Tell me the
win,
rules
or
again.
no, I would not win.
What's the rules again?
The rules were like wrestling rules with some
Uh.
jujitsu like submission stuff in there. Like if
I
he
think
puts
I'd win.
if he puts you in a choke, or you put him in a choke and tap out, or an arm bar, or an ankle bar. Or,
I think I would win. I think I'd win. Because I think
I'm gonna move this towards you that way.
he's
That's
pretty
interesting.
strong, but he's
You
a little
guys
bit
gotta-
slow and a little.
if we quit this now and you hurry home, you can put this to the test.
Facebook
Can we
Live.
Facebook Live that one?
He's
You guys
kinda
can see
slow-
that later on this
slow
evening.
all around.
Well,
So I think I'd win.
Wes v. James.
a big
The
ticket.
night the boy dies. Oh man.
I think
David and
Owen
Goliath.
could. My mind says he couldn't take me, but
My mind also says I couldn't take him.
Mm.
Yeah.
If you look at, I mean, even our hands, he's got like these big old like fingers, and I got these like scrawny fingers. And,
Well, you know, size is a big thing, and you got size.
but you have
you're
the other
6'4".
ingredient, which would be strength, which
Yeah.
I feel like Lathan
I
would.
don't
Extreme
have.
agility.
I don't have a lot
See?
of, and I hurt my knee, and my
The-
knee's still kind of.
I feel like
thing
Lathan
you are
would.
So I'd get.
the thing you're both missing is grit. In regards to what you're saying, you're missing out on the fact that there's more grit here and there's more grit here.
Gristle.
Yeah, but he's gonna fight smart, and I think you're gonna fight dumb. if I'm honest with you.
Oh man, this is on. no.
Oh man.
When it comes, I think I could. This has nothing to do with this. I think I could strike him out, but I don't think I could beat him in a fight. So
Yeah.
I don't think I stand a chance. He went on. I had my answer prepared like 5 minutes ago. When that question was asked, I was like, I don't think I stand a chance.
So you think you could knock him out though?
No, like I'm talking like
Like
strike him
baseball?
out. That's my only
Oh,
thing I might be
gotcha.
able to beat him in.
Yeah.
Is that I don't think I could knock him out either.
I think you could.
I
knock
have
him out.
longer arms than him, so I got that going for me.
No,
but-
I'm saying if it was just like he had his hands to his side, you had a free shot, you could knock him out.
yeah, but if it was an actual fight, I still don't know.
One free shot?
I don't know if I'd knock him
One
out.
free shot.
I don't
Because
think he could.
I don't think so
Yeah.
because he fell 17 feet onto his
Yeah.
chin and was not.
I think
got
blacked
pretty
out.
tough. Got an iron
That
chin.
is true.
he does not have a glass chin. I don't think.
Oh man.
Yeah, I still got the nod in there though.
Doug says he'll arm wrestle the winner.
Doug's told me all his arm wrestling stories. I don't know that I want to arm wrestle Doug.
I thought you. Was
Well,
gonna
you're
say-
not going to be the winner, so you don't have to worry about it.
I thought you was going to say Doug. Never mind.
Oh, Doug's got little bitty arms. They're short.
Well, he's got his little strategy that he does. He's taught me.
Yeah. He taught it to you,
Stupid.
huh?
He told me he beat Mike Cole in an arm wrestle.
Well, that's
What?
pretty impressive.
I know it is.
What scenario were you in where Doug was teaching you arm wrestling tips?
I think
They hang out,
I remember we were at church.
work on their getting
Oh,
their
yeah.
guy on their side of the table.
Oh man. This is fun. All right. Is there anything else that we really need to say? I mean, James thinks he could whip me.
I think I'd get it. Wouldn't I think I might go a little bit, but I think I'd get. I don't know any submissions either, so it's like
Who
Yeah.
you think wins out of us two?
I mean, he's got like 60 pounds on you.
that's
No, he does not. How much do you weigh?
a lot.
There's no
like
you don't.
like 220.
He's got like 50 pounds on. him.
Well, I wasn't far off. Doug says don't tell all his secrets.
Here's what I think. I'm gonna say I would win, but then if I lose, it's like he's got 50 pounds on me. That wasn't a fair fight.
I've also never wrestled.
Uh,
I think wrestling's an interesting sport. I'll put it that way.
wrestling is fascinating.
Are you
It
calling
really
it gay?
is.
Is
When
that
I
what
say
you're doing?
interesting, I mean I don't want to go watch two guys and
Yeah.
grapple around.
I
Like,
always wanted to wrestle, but I could not get myself to wear that outfit.
Yeah.
Just couldn't do it.
I don't like wearing it.
what's even worse
Why
is
don't
the
they
other guys
change
wearing
that?
it.
Well,
There's
the
got to
bad
be
thing
something
is,
that could be done with the leotard.
Well, here's the thing now. There's some people that they have them wear shorts and t-shirts. But like if you're at the wrestling meet and everybody's wearing a singlet and you see a guy out there wearing shorts and a t-shirt, like what a wuss. Can't even wear a singlet.
Yeah, well, I'm a
Or he's the
wuss 'cause
only
I
smart
couldn't
guy
get
there.
myself to do it.
Or he's the only smart one.
Yeah, that's fair.
I used to go to wrestling practice and wrestle.
Yeah. It's fun.
You just went to the practices? You
Yeah,
did-
I would just go to practice. Coach is like, "Why don't you wrestle?" I was like, "I can't do it. I just can't put that on, man." I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I
Definitely shows everything you got
Yeah.
or don't have. So there you go. Is there anything else we need to talk about this evening? Lathan is making a lot of sense. Doug, you're not the only person to say that. So
Is there anything you guys need to get off your chest?
Not really.
me
Sure.
later
I'm hungry though.
gonna have to get me off your chest.
I say we do it. When we get home, let's do it.
Oh boy.
I think the
Here's-
only problem I
here's what
might have
think
is
would happen in that fight. If he got a hold of you, I think
yeah,
that'd
but that's
be
the
it.
thing. I just wait till he's tired out, and then I get a hold of him, and then it's easy from there.
If Wes would get a hold of you, I don't think you'd find your way out of that one.
Yeah, because
we've
he's
done it several times.
he's also too heavy.
so I don't know.
He's,
And
he's not even that heavy. He's just stupid dense.
I don't even know what that means. He's not
Well,
really
it's like-
heavy. He's just really dense. You know what that sounds like to me? He's not all that heavy. He's just stronger than spoiled meat. And
No,
I
I'm
can't whip
saying-
him because he's so stout.
We've got kids at wrestling that weigh more than him, and they get on top of me, and it's fine. But the second he gets on top of me, it's like,
It's because
can't
they're
breathe.
soft and he's hard as a rock.
okay.
Oh man. That's funny. Just
Yeah.
I'm dense. I'm just really dense.
It's not that he's that heavy. He's just really dense. I think those are. I think that was an oxymoron. Is that what they call that?
Yeah. Something's a moron.
Well, I do. I want to go home and eat.
Yep.
We appreciate you guys staying around and coming on.
It's been awesome.
You guys are precious, both of you, and one day you'll be better at us at everything, probably. So we cherish the moment that we say we can whip you, because here at the end of the day, we can right now.
Right now.
But in 10 or
I'll just
15
wait till
years,
you're like 60.
in 10 or 15 years, I probably still will be able to, but maybe in 25, not. No. But one day you'll surpass us, and I want you to surpass us at everything we do. It may not be hunting or shooting a bow, but I want you, whatever you guys do, to be better than us at it.
That's right.
You
Yep.
know, go higher, fly farther, run faster.
I
see
changed
bigger
your
things.
diaper when
I
you
think
were
that-
born, and one of these days you'll change mine.
Maybe not.
Nope. I'm praying for continuity my whole life. So, all right. This has been up for discussion. We appreciate you guys tuning in with special guests James Hutchcraft and Owen Musgrave. It's been great having you guys on. We appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you guys wouldn't mind, please share, like, comment. We appreciate it. And it helps us get the word out. So I guess that's it for this evening. Episode 54, Walking Amongst Giants. Lathan, do you feel like a giant? He just
I'm
doesn't
not
say
sure.
anything.
I'm not sure. No.
All right. You guys have a good one. We'll catch up with you guys later. Bye-bye.